Holy shit, this episode of The Flash was amazing. It started off feeling a bit like a filler episode, and then it just slowly started getting better and better and better and better and better. And yeah, I just can't. This show never ceases to amaze me. But so, anyways, so this is the review for tonight's episode of The Flash, and the episode was called Rupture, and this was season 2, episode 20. And so, if you haven't seen the episode yet, go watch the episode and then come back and watch my review because there will be full spoilers. All right, so now I'm going to assume from this point on that you've already seen the episode or you just don't care about spoilers. So anyways, the thing I really liked about this episode, first of all, was we got to see two people come back in this show that we haven't seen in quite a while. We got to see Henry come back, and it's always great to see Barry's dad because, he's the John Wesley ship. If you didn't know, he was the original Flash in the 1990 Flash TV series, and so the fact that he's Barry's dad, that just makes the connection feel that much more special, and he already is a great actor, so just seeing him, having more scenes with him is always a great thing. And we got to see, oh damn it, I forgot what his name was, but we got to see Cisco's brother back, and we got to see their relation. We got to see them have a deeper connection. And so I thought that the scenes with Cisco and his brother were great, and we got to see... Now, I didn't think that we were going to see another metahuman in here, but turns out we did. We saw Rupture, who was apparently... Rupture was Reverb's brother. And so, but this time Rupture just... if you notice that, their names both start with R. Reverb, Rupture. They're just now caught on to that. So we saw him with a scythe, and it was extremely powerful, and he was better than most of the other filler villains or filler metahumans, but I thought that he was great, and just having him, the fact that he is Cisco's brother, that just made it feel better, it just added for an interesting dynamic on the show, and I really enjoyed seeing that. The other part that I really liked about this episode was just seeing the whole struggle with Barry and the whole struggle with Wells and Joe and Henry. That scene of the three of them talking about whether they should recreate the particle accelerator explosion, whether they should do that or not. That was really good to hear, because there's these three. So we had two people which are pretty much father figures to Barry, and then his actual father. So having the three of them talk about their different points of view on whether they should start up the particle accelerator, that was a really great scene. And the other thing too, of course, that we can't leave out is Zoom still has Caitlin, and seeing him just return to Earth 1, and the way that he just went right in there and just pretty much took control of the CCPD that was menacing, but still seeing the fact that Zoom kept trying to talk to Caitlin, saying there's the darkness in you, and the fact that he's trying to say all you have to do is unlock it, almost like it felt like he was trying to manipulate her into just becoming Killer Frost. I thought that was a really good scene, and I don't know about you, but it almost looked like Caitlin was almost like she was saying he kind of had a point about there being a lot of darkness in her. But then I don't think that she's going to really become Killer Frost or become the Killer Frost that we know from Earth 2. I don't think that's possible. They've just been talking about that storyline, and they've been talking about her for too long. I just don't see it happening. I think the Caitlyn we have is still going to remain the same Caitlyn Snow that we all know. I don't think anything with her is going to change. So after that, we got to see... she still ended up being able to send a message to everyone that Rupture's going to attack Jitters. But seeing the way that Zoom snapped all of their necks like it was nothing, like in a whiff of a second, just went through everyone and just did it. That was... goddamn, I got a lot of goosebumps watching that scene. And the other scene that I really liked was we got to see Jesse and Wally stuck in the I believe it was called the Time Vault. I forget what that, but the White Room before, where we saw the Earth 1 Reverse Flash, where we got to see him like look at the future newspapers. That room, I believe it's called the Time Vault, but I'm not too sure about that. The other thing that I liked in this episode was seeing Jesse and Wally's interactions with each other. This is only I believe only the second time we've seen the two of them together, but it's funny how Jesse kept saying, "Oh, it's impossible to get out of this room," and then almost 10 minutes later they're out of there. So really, and it's kind of funny how they keep mentioning. How they keep saying, "Oh, she's really quick." They've made so many on-the-nose references to Jessie Quick, and if for those of you that don't know, Jessie in the comics is another speedster, and her name is Jessie Quick. So that's why. So for those of you wondering about that, that's where that comes from. And the other thing that I liked was we got to see Iris talk. Iris say that she actually does love Barry still, and how before we used to see Barry keep on expressing his feelings, but we never really got to see Iris reflect on the same thing. So at least I'm glad they're getting that out of the way, so that hopefully by the time season 3 starts, the two of them are officially a couple, and we can stop all this building and just let it happen already. That's what I'm hoping for, because, I don't want to mention that show that shall not be named, but, the two main characters where they have to keep forcing them to be each other, and they have to create this bullshit drama of keeping them apart, then keeping them together, then keeping them apart, keeping them together, and the writers can't make up their mind on that fucking show that will remain nameless, but I guarantee you know exactly what show I'm talking about. Where the character dresses up in green. Yeah, I'm sick of the way they handle their shit in that show, and I'm just glad that at least for the time being, it doesn't seem like it's headed in that direction, because the Flash writers are, at this moment in time, 1,000 million times better than the Arrow writers. And there we go, just fucking mentioned it, whatever. Anyways. So, yeah. But then, the part that got me instantly hyped was it didn't register. This thought never registered to me until a minute when Jesse and Wally walked out of the Time Vault. But when you saw them, they started talking about the way how the particle accelerator just started to happen. It didn't even occur to me that this is when they were going to get their powers. And I thought, I didn't think that they would happen this soon, but it's so obviously what they're pointing out towards. And when I saw that, oh man, all the goosebumps. I just couldn't believe that they were finally getting our Jesse Quick and our Wally West right there in that moment. Ah, that was so good. And the other part that I liked of course, was the whole part was Barry being inside the particle accelerator contraption thing, just like how he did it in Flashpoint, how he got Thomas Wayne's help to get him to be struck by lightning the way they did it. And I like the Harry Potter references. That was really funny because he said, "I need you to get your lightning rod," and then Wells said, from the Harry Potter convention, "Yes, I mean the one from Martin." I thought that was fucking funny. And then again when he said that, once again, I know nothing about Harry Potter. So other than the very basics, because I never watched the movies, but when he said that one spell as he was getting as Cisco was getting the lightning, I thought that was great. Cisco had a ton of great moments, as he always does. So I thought that was funny, but I wasn't expecting Barry to die in here. I didn't think that's what was going to happen. I thought that he was just going to get his powers. But then again, the way that his death is treated, I thought the reactions from everyone, the reactions from Iris and Joe and Henry, and they were pretty good, and they looked very convincing, like they really truly thought Barry was dead. Now, I did not watch the preview for next week's episode. I try to avoid as many of the previews as I can for the next episodes because I want to go in completely blind, feeling completely surprised. So, man, when I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how they're going to get out of that because Barry's suit was completely torn. And I didn't exactly get to see what happened over there exactly, but it looked like, but if I were to guess, I would say that he is stuck in the Speed Force, sort of like where the time wraiths were. Like, I'm going to assume he was stuck there in the Speed Force, where that portal, when you see him running through time, you see visions of all the other time remnants, or not time remnants, what the fuck was I? All the visions of all the other Earths, all the other portals, like when he saw Supergirl in the other portal, and then when he saw the Legends of Tomorrow in that one scene from the finale from season 1. I'm going to assume that his consciousness or his spirit or whatever it is stuck in the Speed Force, stuck in the middle of it. And if that is true and they show that, that's going to be one hell of an interesting episode for next week. But yeah, I loved this episode. This feels like it's in the top. For me, this feels like it's in the top 5 of the season, along with Earth 2-1 and the one where he went back in time to season 1 to get Eobard Thawne's help when he was still in Harrison Wells' body. I thought like this goes right in there with those episodes because, man, the feelings I got from this, the chills I got, it's just. You're watching one hell of a fantastic episode when you just can't stop smiling, and sometimes you get so hyped you have to fight back the tears. That's what this episode felt like to me. So anyways, yeah, it started out at a 7, then it went up to an 8, then it got to an 8.5, but then this episode to me ended at a 9. So I can't wait. And I loved seeing Zoom talking shit to everyone. Said, "You thought you could get the Flash's speed back? Well, you killed him." Ha! That's what it felt like. Like Zoom felt like Nelson, where he said, "Ha!" That's exactly what Zoom felt like in that one scene. I just thought that he came there not to attack him, but he just came there to fucking talk shit to them. I thought, man, oh boy, yeah. Anyways, okay. That's what I thought of this episode. You can follow me on the N4G TV podcast. Which on the N4G TV YouTube channel, which comes out every weekend, new episodes, and you can also support my channel on Patreon. I would appreciate it. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you for next week's episode of The Flash. Bye.